All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Bob from Lone Duck, and I've got my sweet girl Memph here. Let's talk about getting your dog ready to run blind retrieves. And is your dog ready to run blind retrieves? Here are some prerequisites that I make sure are instilled in the dog before it's time to kind of take that next step. So rule number one, they've got to be through formal obedience, and they've got to be through collar conditioning. So making sure that your dog understands the basics of obedience and is really reliable on it, because blind retrieves in essence is obedience. They're at a distance, they stop on a whistle. What is that? Sit. Obedience. Changing directions and being a team player. What is that? Obedience. So we've got to have a really strong foundation of a dog that understands how to work with you and build upon that. So a strong foundation of obedience and a strong foundation of collar conditioning. The second step would be force fetch, which if you haven't already, take the force fetch course and get that dog to where it needs to be on the table, on the ground, with a collar, and we can move forward into force to a pile, mini T, and all the good stuff that comes. So if you haven't formalized your obedience, if you haven't formalized collar conditioning, we got to do that. The second thing I really want to make sure is that this dog is mature enough, right? So I'm not doing this with a 6-month-old puppy. This is probably an 8, 9, 10, 12-month-old dog that has had time to develop retrieve drive, excellent water attitude, excellent training attitude, and is mentally ready to take the next step. And only you and your dog can decide that. So if, let's for instance say, your dog kind of lacks retrieve drive, is kind of wishy-washy on whether they feel like working today or they want to work tomorrow, let's stop and focus on that first, because let's be honest, a blind retrieve is very difficult physically and mentally on a dog. And if they don't have that light bulb moment of, this is fun, let's go out and work and grow, you're going to have a harder time. So make sure that that dog is full of retrieve drive, happy to work, and happy to be a team player. And then we'll get rolling. So stick with us. Make sure your prerequisites are in check. If they're not, let's take a step back and build to it. You can't build a house without putting the foundation in first. So before you think about putting the roof on, make sure your foundation and everything else is set. So here we go. Let's get into it.